The Legend of Zelda for Wii U and The Legend of Zelda for NX are shaping to be one of the most important titles, if not the most important title in the Legend of Zelda series. It's gonna break new ground. It's gonna be the biggest game we've ever seen. And there's a lot of potential features that I want to see in the game. And I'm not the only one. Along for the ride, I got DuncanKneeDeep. The Legend of Zelda series is something that we're both very passionate about, so we decided to construct a list together of the top 10 features we want to see in The Legend of Zelda for Wii U and NX. This list is the features that we want to see 5 through 1 on Zelda Wii U and Zelda NX. If you haven't seen 10 through 6, it's over on DuncanKneeDeep's channel. So be sure to watch that first before you continue on the video. If you did, let's get into it with number 5. A non-linear approach. This has been hinted and littered around all the information pieces that we had about Zelda Wii U and Zelda NX. This approach works extremely well for A Link Between Worlds, and for a number of reasons. One, it allowed you to have the Zelda flow follow the path that you want to set for yourself by allowing you to grab items and traverse towards any dungeon in any order. And 2, this allowed the dungeons to have optional yet invaluable items that make you feel like you're actually getting a reward for braving this dungeon instead of just getting a path opener. From what we know about the non-linear approach applying to Zelda Wii U and Zelda NX is that we'll be able to tackle any dungeon in any order from any route. So you can approach the dungeon from any side and complete it according to your own strategies and thoughts. That sounds very satisfying. However, I don't want this game's story to be sacrificed in order to be able to tackle any dungeon in any section of the game at any will. You know what? But I believe in Nintendo that they can balance out the story and a non-linear approach in the next Zelda game.
In at number 4, let's talk about multiple forms of clothing and armor. Many Zelda games have had a selection of tunics that Link can equip, which give different bonuses. In almost all games though, the options are pretty limited, and while the magical armor in Twilight Princess was pretty cool, that's about as complex as clothing and armor has ever gotten. A huge departure from the series formula, which could definitely complement an open world game, would be multiple armors which provide different buffs and benefits. Maybe you want to equip armor with less defense that makes you stealthier, allowing to sneak past enemies with ease to perform devastating sneak attacks. Or you could go for heavy armor, making yourself as bulky as an iron knuckle. Or maybe you just want to don the traditional green tunic of the hero for a balanced overall experience. This concept really isn't that alien. In a lot of the media that we have for this game so far, Link is not present in his standard hero's tunic, and it could be an indication that Nintendo is taking options in clothing and layers a bit more seriously this time around. It would be amazing to have this many options when playing a Zelda game.
This is something I adore in video games. Information logging. Man, I love reading about lore in any type of video games I play, and especially in Zelda. Can you imagine? I want this to be in the next Zelda game. Say what you will about Navi and Fi, whatever. I appreciate all the information they gave me on enemies and people. I want this to the extreme in Zelda Wii U or Zelda NX. Imagine this. Something similar to what we've seen in the Wind Waker with the statues and their information, but in a logbook to take with you wherever you go. You can get information on almost anything. Take a page from the Metroid Prime series. Come on, I beg you! The information that you can get will be recorded on your logbook, and it can tell you information and secrets on people, enemies, locations, and items. So picture this. You get some information on an enemy or a synthesis item, right? And you need to find out where it's going to be in the future for future references when you need to hunt something down, or you need to do a mini mission, or if you want to get certain synthesis materials, you can reference the logbook for future references. You can reference the logbook to find out where they are in the future. You know, with a guy like me that loves Zelda lore, you know, I'm going to be sitting there reading all the information, like not even playing the game, just reading everything I can about, you know, these people, items, and enemies. What? I like to read, okay?
In at number 2, we've got a concept that really does tie a lot of what we've been talking about together, and that is the idea of an evolving world. I would love to play a Zelda game in which each of my actions have consequences on the world I'm playing it in. We got to experience this to an extent in Majora's Mask, where choosing to take place in certain side quests would alter the timeline. However, as soon as we played that Song of Time, all of those changes would be erased. I want to see a world where I can choose to help the Gorons conquer the Death Mountain dungeon so they can establish a home there, beat the big bad in the river and establish Zora's domain, return resources to Skyloft and start building Castletown and Hyrule Castle. I want to establish Hyrule. This could easily tie into the concepts of a time skip and non-linear gameplay, as many of these things could be optional and you could end up with your own Hyrule after you undergo the time skip. An evolving world would also add replayability to this game, as well as a great deal of personalization to the huge open world we've been promised. I'm gonna keep dreaming of this until release.
Combat in the Zelda series has always been evolving with each game, with tweaks here and there, but I feel that for the longest, Zelda hasn't really taken that next big step in the combat's evolution. Sure, Skyward Sword had one-to-one swordplay, but that was heavily reliant on the player's motion controls for the Wii Motion Plus. In this new Zelda game, I feel that Link should have the potential to fight like no other Links before him and after him. We already know that bullet time abilities is going to be in Zelda Wii U, when Link jumps off his horse and then he slows down time to get a precise arrow hit to a foe. Why not expand on that a little bit more? Maybe take a page out of the Bayonetta and No More Heroes series, where if Link successfully dodges an enemy strike, he slows down time and he's able to unleash hell upon them. As for more traditional swordplay options, maybe incorporate sword-specific combos, or have high-risk, high-reward sword parries that can knock off opponents if you activate them successfully. Hey, maybe that'll even trigger bullet time abilities for Link in order to go in and strike the opponent. All in all, Zelda Wii U, Zelda NX, I feel that it's gonna take the next big step in combat evolution in Zelda that they always wanted to take. Hey guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the top 10 features that we want to see in Zelda Wii U, Zelda NX. DuncanKneeDeep and I have worked hard on this and will both be at E3 this year playing the game and getting the scoop for you guys. So be sure to subscribe to HMK and be sure to subscribe to DuncanKneeDeep. So until E3, I've been HMK, he's been DuncanKneeDeep, and we will check you guys later.